Hello and welcome to Mac Nirvana, your path to digital harmony. Today we're going to be working with iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch and looking at how you can edit or customize your home screen. Let's do a quick review. This is your home screen. It's made up of three parts: the info bar, a home page, and the dock. The dock and home page contain apps, which allow you to start or launch different functions on your device. I mentioned in our last iOS tutorial that the home page and dock can be arranged to suit your individual needs. In this video, I'm going to show you how that process works. We're going to make your iOS device uniquely yours. The first thing we need to do is get your device ready to make these changes. We need to enter what is called home screen edit mode. Go ahead and place your finger on any app on the screen and hold it there. After a few seconds, all the apps will begin to shake. The app shaking is the device's way of indicating to us that it's left normal mode and it is now entered edit mode. When you're in edit mode, you can't launch apps or do anything else. All the device cares about is moving things around. If you accidentally get into edit mode, you can quickly return to normal mode by clicking the home button. There are four primary things you can do in edit mode. First is move and arrange apps on a home page. Second is move apps between one home page and another. Third, group apps together in folders. And the last is we can actually delete apps from the device. Now that the apps are shaking, let's move them around. Now place your finger on any one of the apps. Notice it takes about a half second, or what I call a beat, and the app that you're touching gets a little larger and a little darker. This is the device's way of indicating to us that it sees the app that we're touching and it's ready to move it around. Now I can move the app anywhere on the page. Notice all the other apps move out of the way. They're always going to remain in a grid. I can even move the app to or remove an app from the dock. Speaking of the dock, a few rules. On an iPhone or an iPod Touch, the dock has room for 4 apps. On the iPad, it has a maximum capacity of 6 apps. If the dock already has its maximum amount of apps, you'll have to remove one app before you can add another. Now the dock is really meant for the apps that you use constantly. So you really want to pick those 4 or 6 apps that you just use all the time. When you stop touching the screen, the app will return to its normal size and its normal shade, but all the apps will continue shaking. The device will not exit edit mode or return to normal mode until you click the home button. Now, let's move an app from one page to another page. We saw in our last tutorial that these devices can have up to 11 home pages. And if you've downloaded a lot of apps, you might have a lot of home pages. But if you're like most people, you've got far fewer. In the course of downloading these apps, you may have your apps spread across many pages. So let's say, for example, you'd like all your games on a single page, as opposed to having to swipe from page to page to get from one game to another. The first step remains the same. Touch and hold any app on the screen until your device enters the edit mode. Shaking apps lets you know that the device is ready. The second step also remains the same. Touch a shaking app until the device tells you it's ready. Again, the icon gets a little larger and a little darker. Now, move your finger to the left edge or the right edge, depending on which home page you would like the app to move. Now hold your finger half on the screen and half off, and wait. There, the device is going to move the home pages under your finger. Your finger stays right where it is on the edge, and the device will move pages for you. If you get to the edge and the app doesn't move to the next home screen, but rather springs back to the position it started at, one of two things has happened. First, you may have moved your finger too far off the screen, at which point the device can't see your finger, and it decided you may have changed your mind. This is common when working with the iPad. The border around the iPad has no touch sensors. So as far as the iPad can tell, you've stopped touching it. The other possibility is you're already at the end of that particular set of home screens. So if you're already on page 1 and trying to go to the left, there is no additional home page to go to the left, and you can't create one that way. The other possibility is if you have 11 pages and you're on the 11th page going right, you can't create a 12th page, and the device won't circle around to the first page. This may take a little bit of practice, but you are going to get it. Now, if the device is moving the home pages under your finger, notice that if you leave your finger in place, the device will keep going as far as it can. In this case, to the first home page. We can tell here by the dots. If you're not entirely sure what I mean by this, you need to go back to my first iOS video. If you've gone too far and overshot the page you want your app to end up on, just move the app to the opposite edge and go back. When an app is on the home page you'd like, move the app from the edge and place it where you'd like it on the screen. Remember, apps are laid out in this grid. So if you move an app onto a home page that's already full, the last app in the bottom right corner will be forced onto the next home page to the right. An iPhone has room for 16 apps on a single home page. The iPad has room for 20. This does not include the dock. What if I want to get all the games on my iPhone onto a single page, but I've got 17 of them? No problem. We'll create a folder to hold them. This is what a folder looks like. It's an icon with apps inside. When you touch a folder, it slides open to reveal the apps within. Touch one of those apps, and it launches. To create a new folder, you need 2 apps. Now you must be in edit mode, so again, touch until the apps shake. See, the device is telling us that it's ready to move that app. Now, drag the one app on top of your second app. If you overshoot, the second app will move to the side. But if you place the first app right on top of the second app, look, the device made a folder. Now, the iPhone has guessed that we might want to call this folder Games. And in this case, it's a good guess. But what if you want to rename the folder? Make sure the folder's open, tap in this text field here. The keyboard slides up, and now you can name the folder anything you'd like. You can create as many folders as you have apps to go in them, but you can never create an empty folder. If I remove both apps from this folder, the folder itself disappears. You can only add apps to a folder one at a time, and you cannot place a folder within a folder. Now, folders can be moved from one home screen to another, just as any app can. A folder can hold 12 apps. Oh wait, but I have 17 games. They won't all fit in a single folder. They won't, so we're going to have to create 2 folders. Now, a couple of options here. We can name the folders Games 1 and Games 2, or maybe Board Games and Action Games. You can arrange the contents of the folder as you please and move the entire folder. Now we've got all our games on a single home page. They're in 2 folders, but they're all together. It's much easier to find them this way. The last thing you can do while in edit mode is delete apps. Again, we enter edit mode. We now have shaking apps. Notice that these apps here have little black circles with X's in them. Tap the X and the device will ask you, are you sure you want to delete this app? We are, and so we're going to confirm that we want to delete this app, and now it's removed. There's a few important things to note here. First, notice that not every app has an X. That's because you cannot delete the apps that came with your device originally. These apps are tied to certain functions built into your device, and so while they may not be important to you, they are important to the device. Secondly, if you delete an app, all of its data is also deleted from your device. For apps that only store data on your device, that information can be gone forever. There are apps out there tied to services which may store your information outside of your device. As an example, I have an app here called Wunderlist that I use for keeping all of my important lists. Now, Wunderlist allows me to sign up for an account and actually store my lists on their servers. So if I delete Wunderlist from my phone, the information is deleted, but there's a copy of it on Wunderlist's website. Check the settings within an app to see if they have a login option. If it allows you to create and log into an account, it may also sync or upload your information for storage outside your device. The third thing to keep in mind with deleting apps is, while you can delete an app and its data, you can always re-download the app from the App Store. Now, it's important to note here that if you do re-download an app from the App Store, the data that you had within that app previously is not stored in the App Store. So again, if I delete Wunderlist and reinstall it, my lists don't come back. If I have a Wunderlist account, which I do, I can log into that account and the app will resynchronize my information from the copy that's stored on the Wunderlist servers. If I did not have that Wunderlist account, deleting the Wunderlist app would mean I would lose that information permanently. Delete apps only if you're absolutely positive that you either have that data stored somewhere else or that you're just never going to need it again, because it will be gone. One last tip. Everything that we've looked at today, we did directly on your device. But it's also worth noting that you can do all these functions from iTunes when your device is plugged into your computer. iTunes gives you a really nice interface that looks like your device, but now we can click on it with a mouse or trackpad. You can move an app on the homepage. You can move an app from one homepage to another. You can create folders, and you can delete apps. The most important thing to remember is that you must click apply, or any adjustments that you make will not be applied. This has been editing your home screen. It's all about customizing your device for your needs. Moving apps on a page, moving apps from one page to another, grouping apps together into folders, and deleting apps, as well as putting your most often used things in the dock, and arranging everything in a manner that suits your style. If you would like to continue growing in knowledge and confidence with your Mac or other Apple products, please email MacNirvana at info@macnirvana.com. We provide individualized training both in person and live over the web. We also offer group and business training as well as consulting. Visit us on the web at www.macnirvana.com for more details. Thank you for joining me today. For MacNirvana, LLC, this is Rob wishing you elegant organization.